Hey everybody, Marcus C. Williams here, and welcome to The Divide with Marcus C. Williams. We are here in your ear, having the conversations that you need to hear. We are upstate New York's number one conservative radio show. So I appreciate all of you guys tuning in today. We are doing this show a little earlier if you're online with us, but we're making it happen regardless because I appreciate you guys. Every week you guys tune in, and we got a great show for you, even though we're a little early today. So thank you guys for tuning in. Let's jump right into it. We're going to start with some local stuff, then we'll get into some national stuff, and then we'll move to some international stuff because there's just so much going on in the world right now, and we need to have the serious conversations that are important. So if you're watching online right now, hit like, hit share, hit subscribe, and get the message out there because together we can make a real difference. And if you're on X, it don't cost you nothing. Hit that retweet button. And on Facebook, share. So, boom, let's get into it. In my hometown of Rochester, that's right, hit the subscribe button, brother. Yes, indeed. So, in my hometown of Rochester, you guys, we've got a whole bunch of serious stuff going on. It's very important that we understand that a lot of these crazy sexual predators are out there running amok. You guys, if you follow me for a while, I often talk about all of the missing children, and I ask the question, what is going on with all of these missing children, especially the missing teens? Because you mean to tell me that we got all of these teens going missing, and all of a sudden, you can't find them on social media nowhere? No, young adults, you can't find them on social media nowhere? Stop playing in my face. Something's happening to these children. But we have a number of sexual predators in our area that continue to go unaddressed because of poor policies on the state level and failure to adequately inform people of what's going on. We have a lot of different issues with sexual assaults and things like that that go unreported or underreported, being that you now have to go down to the office to make reports and stuff like that. A lot of people don't want to go through the hassle. So this guy was at the beach and he was exposing himself to people on the beach and children. And I didn't even see that in the newspaper. I'm trying to figure out how you got some guy out there exposing himself to children at the beach and nobody's saying anything. It doesn't make the news. Can somebody explain that to me? No, nobody's got an explanation for that. See, these are the problems and the type of issues that we continue to have, but nobody really talks about it. You see, city council is very lackluster. They don't care about any of these issues. When have you one time heard city council talk about the issue with the missing children or the issues with the sexual assaults in our city? Never. Not one time have you ever heard them talk about any of that. And it's reprehensible because it's a very serious issue that continues to go on in our city. Now we got these people out here flashing children and stuff like that, indecent exposure. But I mean, maybe he had some sort of a reason. Maybe he was mentally ill, or maybe he was part of one of those parades and he was just like, oh, this is what I can do because that's what people do. So it's really concerning that we see this becoming a more and more common issue. We can't have these crazy people running amok, going in and out of prison that are a threat to our children and general public safety. We need real, actual elected officials that are willing to deal with these things. So not only did this guy expose himself to these children on the beach, there was some other guy, and I don't know if it's the same guy, a different guy, I'm not sure, who was exposing himself to children on university. So he was over. We got serial flashers going on right now, flashing children all across our city. What is going on? Where is the rule of law? But this is what happens when you have a city council that doesn't care about the citizens. This is what happens when you have local elected officials that don't care about the citizens. We've got all of these terrible laws in place, and nobody's looking out for the actual citizens. That's one of the big reasons why I'm running for city council this year in Rochester, New York, because our city council isn't looking out for our citizens. They're looking out for themselves. They're looking out for number one. You understand what I'm saying? And it's not good, because we see these incidences, we see these missing children, we see these people out here that are sexual deviants in public, and nobody is doing or saying anything about it whatsoever. It's appalling to me, frankly, and I'm not willing to stand. I'm pushing to actually address some of these issues and others on city council. So if you live in the area, make sure you spread the word, and even if you don't, share these videos as we go on. So we have other stuff going on too. Crazy. I don't know if you guys saw it, but there was a big incident over on East Ave the other week, last week, and now they're putting up even more barriers on East Ave. They're expanding the area. Now, a lot of these people get online or they go out and they protest and they say, oh, we're anti-fascist. Oh, we're against kings. Oh, we're against authoritarianism. But we got authoritarianism right in my hometown, right in my city, right in Rochester, New York, right here. Why is nothing being done about that? You mean that they can close off neighborhoods and demand that you show your ID to go into public neighborhoods? What is going on here? They want to declare it some sort of a special event zone. No, it is a neighborhood like any other. This is what the problem is. They go out, these elected officials, they go out, they do what they want, and they feel like the people won't do anything or say anything. Now, let me start off with the whole concept of why they're doing this. They're like, oh, well, it's to make things safer, so we're just going to block off this area right here so nobody goes into this area, and everybody that goes in has to be checked and patted down and stuff like that. Well, wait a second. I lived through COVID. I remember that you had these COVID passports that people needed to show to get into stores and stuff like that. Can we talk about that? I remember that they were pushing people. You couldn't come into the hospital if you didn't have a vaccine passport and all of this and all of that nonsense. Hello, can somebody hear me in this piece? Y'all know what I'm saying? Drop a comment if you want to be part of the conversation. I'll pop your comment up on the screen and we can talk about this together, because these are very important topics that we're covering. So even if you just want to say hey or hi or I'm watching and I support you, just drop a comment, even if it's just a thumbs up or an American flag in the comments. So our city is constructing these denial of entry zones. What is going on? Who's to say they won't do it in another neighborhood next, right? Because they're just doing it unilaterally. Did they go out to the people? Did they collect petition signatures for that in that neighborhood? No. Did they put it on a ballot for an initiative to be voted on? No. The government is just unilaterally locking down neighborhoods and forcing people to show their ID and get frisked to come into certain neighborhoods. That's not okay. And I don't understand where all of these anti-fascist people and no kings people are, because they need to be up on this. Why are they not up on this? I don't got to agree with them on the crazy nonsense that they get into or that they're actually on about, but they should be. If they really are against fascism, they should be standing against making neighborhoods denial of entry zones for the general public. Because if they'll do it in that neighborhood, what's to say that they won't cordon off another neighborhood? And if they'll cordon off a neighborhood, what's to say that they won't let you out of a neighborhood? Come on now. Let's see. We got a comment. Mikey, what you got going on? You say, what's happening? You talking about the East End? Yes, Mikey, I'm talking about the East End. I'm talking about how all of this government overreach is just going on. This fascism in our streets is going on. And I want to know where all of these anti-fascist people are. You understand what I'm saying, Mikey? You dig? This is not okay. Shaylin is commenting. She says, when is the vote for city council? The vote for city council is November 4th. There's going to be some early voting in October. I'm not sure what the dates for that are going to be yet for sure, but I'll know soon. And please get out the word. And if you guys want to help out with my campaign, go to my website, and it's Marcus4Rochester.com. That's Marcus4Rochester.com. You can volunteer or donate right there. And you don't even have to be local to donate. So if you're listening to me from some other part of the country or from a different city, you can still donate there too. Marcus, the number 4, Rochester.com. Yeah, Mikey, it's serious, because think about this, you guys. As we go into this process of the government just saying, okay, we're going to fence off whole areas of the city, whole neighborhoods of the city, and you got to show your ID to get into this part. Is that not authoritarianism? Is that not like, papers, please, in Nazi Germany? Is that what we're doing in America? And see, they got this impetus to do this because of COVID, because people just let it go during COVID. Oh, yeah, you can just deny people entry for not having some sort of a shot that's being pushed and financed by the government that isn't actually really helping, that's not really protective, and is actually doing a lot of harm to a number of people, which they don't even want to talk about because the drug manufacturers have indemnity and they can't even be sued for any of the people that have been hurt by those shots. But can we talk about that? Anyway, back on track. But we got used to that during COVID because not enough people were speaking up. I was speaking up. I was very vocal on that. Okay. The government isn't just going to unilaterally say, oh, you got to show your passport or your ID to get into public facilities and public areas. That's what we're not doing. I'm not going for none of that. And you guys also, I warn you, be careful with this new digital ID push that's coming down from New York State. If you're not familiar, this again, I've been warning about this since before COVID. Now they've got this digital state ID and they're like, oh, you don't have to get the digital state ID, but it's coming up and you should give it a try because it's convenient for you and you'll always have it on your phone. Don't listen to these people for your convenience. The government does not care about your convenience. The government does not care about your safety. The government does not care about your well-being, and the government definitely does not care about your health. So if you see all of those things, or they say something about your safety and security, understand that you need to check your wallet and you need to check your Bill of Rights because they're definitely coming for something. And these are the important conversations that we need to have. This is what's going on. We need to be talking about this. There need to be protests out there. I don't understand why people aren't protesting over the city denying entry without showing IDs to the police and stuff like that and having to get frisked to go into public areas. Like, I know many of these same people that are all like, oh, yeah, this is okay. We're against Giuliani and stop and frisk in New York City. So how is this okay here? And we're just going to let it go because they're like, oh, well, it's for safety. It's for safety. It's not for safety, y'all. Don't let these people lie to you. It's about control and it's about power and it's about what they have planned next that's coming up for you. And if you don't pay attention now, I'm warning you, they're going to spread this out. And again, if they'll do it over there, what is that they won't do it somewhere else? And this is what's concerning to me. If we don't take notice and say, hey, this is wrong, what's going on. You can't just shut down whole neighborhoods because that means that they'll do it to your neighborhood next. I don't know. Maybe you live in, maybe you live in the 19th ward. Maybe they shut the 19th ward, parts of the 19th ward down. Maybe you live in Cornhill. Maybe they start to shut that down. This stuff is really, really serious, you guys. Like, even though they tell you it's for your safety, remember, these are the same people that won't lock up criminals. These are the same people that had the mayor come out and yell at and dress down our police for helping Homeland Security investigation, which is like the FBI version of Border Patrol and Homeland Security, that were doing investigations on human trafficking. Human trafficking, y'all. And as I mentioned earlier, we have a serious issue with human trafficking. That was our mayor came out and dressed down our police for helping HIS calling for backup, saying, hey, we got too many people. We can't handle this. This was a serious thing. So if it's very clear that they don't care about the children going missing, if they don't care about the human trafficking, if they don't care about the drug trafficking, if they're not locking up any of these criminals that are out here running amok, if they're not going after any of these people that are stealing all these vehicles or breaking into all of these businesses, if they're not going after them, if they're not locking them up, but they're checking your ID to get into public neighborhoods, you need to start asking, who is this actually helping? And who is it actually really for? Because the same thing can be said about everything else that's going on right now in our city. Who are they really doing these things for? Like, for instance, the cameras. Who's that? Shaylin, let me see what you got going on. It says, will the city of Rochester vote for a new mayor, or will they keep Malik Evans in office? So in November, in the general election, we do have a conservative candidate for mayor. His name is Louis Sabo. Check him out. Pretty solid dude. I vote for him. He's solid. I'm not sure what the vote will look like, because so many people in our city are so used to only voting Democrat, Democrat, Democrat. Well, let me tell you this, you guys. The Democrats have been running the city of Rochester for 60 years, 58 to be exact. For 58 years, they've had every level of government, city council. They've had the mayor's office. They've had the school district, okay, the whole school board, all of the city court judges. All of them have been Democrat for 58 years. Now, do you think things have been getting better or things have been getting worse? Because I see our people going backwards and on large scale. I've grown up in the Southwest my whole life. All I've seen is stuff go backwards and our people get pushed out of our neighborhood. And I'm not just talking about blacks. I'm talking about traditional people who have lived in the 19th Ward, in Cornhill, in these areas, especially Cornhill when it used to be black, right? Like everybody got pushed out of that. Like, what's going on here? Like, we're getting pushed out of our own neighborhoods and our own communities, and they're telling us, oh, they're doing all of these good things. But what are the Democrats doing to help us? They control every single aspect of the government. So here's my pitch to you. If you're listening and you're a Democrat, you guys, in November, you can vote for anybody you want. You don't have to vote Democrat if you're a Democrat. So I'm going to encourage you, vote for me. Okay, I'm going to be on the conservative line. Vote Marcus C. Williams for Rochester City Council. And check out Louis Sabo for mayor. He's going to be on the conservative line too. But the fact of the matter is that they have brainwashed people, telling them for decades that they can only vote Democrat, that you got to vote row A all the way. That is a bold-faced lie, and that has been used to keep our people and our community down. And you know, they got all these people out here that are Democrats that talk about oppression. But when you run a city for 60 years and you control all the offices, who is oppressing who? It's got to be you doing the oppressing. And then most of the people on all of these things look like me. So it must not be black people that are oppressed. So who's really oppressing who? It's the Democrat Party that are oppressing the citizens of Rochester and many other cities across the nation that are deep blue like that have a similar story. This is a very, very serious issue, and we need to really address these issues. But people don't want to have that conversation. And when you try to have that conversation with others, they'll try to shut you down. But this is why I'm telling you, you guys, you got to vote on policy and legislation, not on the party line. Because a lot of the times, these people are disservicing you. That's why whenever these Democrats get in office in our city, it might be a new nameplate, but the Democrat Party still owns the office. 58 years they've been running our city into the ground. Not one Republican, not one conservative has been in any level of government. So you tell me, who's responsible for all of the issues? Who's responsible for our failing school district? Tell me. Explain it to me like I'm 5. You understand what I'm saying? Who's responsible for all the crime and the drugs? 60 years they've been in charge. It didn't used to be like that, and it's gotten worse. So you tell me who's responsible. Let's see. We got another comment here. Let's see. Shaylin says, sanctuary city officials have been working to destroy America. That's absolutely correct. They're out here doing all of this stuff, talking about, oh, well, we're going to prioritize illegal aliens. When I go outside and I walk through my neighborhood and I see homeless people in my neighborhood, I see homeless Black Americans in my neighborhood, I see homeless veterans in my neighborhood, I see homeless Hispanic people in my neighborhood. I think most of them are Puerto Ricans. Ran into one Dominican that was homeless the other day. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. But on top of all of that, guess what else I see? that they're not putting the resources to help these homeless people that are American citizens like they're putting to these illegal aliens. And then I got kicked out of the group for the city, for the neighborhood that I live in. They kicked me out of the group because they said, oh, well, ICE is over here in the neighborhood. And I said, good. I'm glad that they're finally going after these human traffickers. Because like I said earlier, they're working on busting up a human trafficking and drug smuggling ring in our area. And they got mad and they wanted to boot me out because I'm not populating this nonsense that we should be caring about more people that aren't Americans, that have their own country, when our people are here struggling. You understand what I'm saying? They tell me that black people are oppressed. They tell me that black people are being kept down. They tell me that black people are chronically underserved. They tell me that black people are in poverty. I'm black. So it sounds like you talking to me. So if you talking to me and then you're going to turn around and tell me that you helping illegal aliens that got other countries, we got a serious problem. We got a serious problem. Okay, they were up there putting all of these people up in all of this housing in these hotels and stuff. They still got these illegal aliens in hotels around our county. They had them in the housing in the Hilton downtown. What was it? Not Hilton, the Holiday Inn. Now it's called the Wyndham Hotel over there on State Street, housing these people. What about all the homeless people out here? What about these people that are struggling, that are near homeless? Are you helping our own people? Like, these are the conversations that we need to be having. Like, I'm not mad that other people want to make a life for themselves in America. Do you know how many refugees we have on refugees lists? So these people that come to this country illegally are pushing the people on the refugee list back because now they can't get in because we got to deal with all these illegals. Do the refugees not matter? You understand what I'm saying? And if they matter, don't our American citizens matter? The way I see it is American citizens number one, number first. That's where all our money should be going. It shouldn't be going to any illegal aliens. It shouldn't be going to nobody else. And like I said, all of these people that are on these, I do some work with refugees. All of these people on these refugee lists are getting a hard time because all of these illegal aliens have come into this country. So we've got programs, like they just had a program, and I got all the type of feelings for this. We just had a program at Catholic Charities say, oh, they can't get any more money from the federal government because they're out here supposed to be helping refugees when they're helping illegal aliens. You make it make sense to me. You're supposed to be helping refugees and you helping illegal aliens. Now you out here crying, talking about the federal government won't give you no money. I wouldn't give you no money neither. You're supposed to be helping refugees. More or less, you call yourself Catholic Family Charities. Why are you not out here helping Christians? Hello. The Bible's very clear on that. It says that we need to help our own people. Okay? The Jews got it down. They help their people all the time. The Jews help themselves all the time. They focus on themselves. They mind themselves, and they do what's best for themselves. How come Americans can't do that? How come Christians can't do that? Okay, we need to focus on ourselves. We're so concerned about these people coming in here from other countries that we're losing resources in our own communities. We got people, let me tell you what's going on with this housing nonsense, okay? We got people that are going into this public or government funded housing that are illegal aliens. We got them getting financing for housing in our neighborhood. There's a street not far from where I live, okay? And it's basically the whole street is illegal aliens. Not people that are here legally, not refugees, illegal aliens. What's going on? And the city council won't talk about it. They won't even mention it at all. County Ledge won't talk about it. They won't mention it at all. But shouldn't we be having these serious conversations? Are these conversations not important conversations to have? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of crazy. And whose money is being spent on it? The taxpayers. People out here struggling with food, with childcare, with housing. And you helping some illegal aliens? Come on, don't play in my face. What do they say? Our poverty rate in the city is something like 26%. And that poverty rate is based on like $23,000 a year. $23,000 a year ain't poor. You can be pulling in $35,000 a year and you still ain't got no money. You don't really start to have no money till you're looking at like $50,000, $60,000 a year. So if we were really to adjust the numbers of what poverty actually is for inflation, it would be way, way higher. We'd be probably looking at something like 50% poverty rate. if we actually made it like, let's say poverty was $45,000 a year, we'd be looking at like 50% poverty rate. But we're not having real serious conversations, because if we did that, it would be just too much like right. And what are they doing this whole time? Pushing us out of our neighborhoods, pushing us out of our communities, and making it more expensive and cost prohibitive for us to live in the areas that we've been living in all our lives. And investors see that as a great investment. I can't be mad at them. But it's the city council that's out there empowering them to do this. And they're not doing it in a sensible way in which our people can actually come up and actually gain a benefit, or actually be able to be stabilized in their housing situation in our neighborhoods. Can we talk about that? No. And I asked city council, I asked the county ledge, I asked them. I said, if all of these prices are going up on these housings and on these prices for expenses, where are the people going to go and live if they move? It's moot. It's silence. It's nobody's got anything to say. You understand what I'm saying? Where are these people going to live? If they got to leave, if they got to get out, if they can't afford it, where are they going to live? Explain it to me like I'm 5. Okay, explain to me like I'm 5, because everywhere I see is looking more and more expensive all across the country. Then they want to move people to housing in the middle of West Bumbaheck. You understand what I'm saying? Shaylin, I see you put something up. If you guys are following right now, hit the like, hit the share button. Okay, drop a heart and drop a comment. Become part of the conversation. Get in here and we'll make it happen. Let's pop this comment up. Shaylin says, we must bring criminal charges against the predators of the blue states, and I mean it. This stuff will not stop until the members are brought to justice for their treasonous crimes that they have committed against our country. Absolutely. Against our country and against our countrymen. You understand what I'm saying? Against all of our people. Now, let me change the gears a little bit. And what we've seen is crazy, right? Because it's the continued deprioritization of our local residents and our long-term citizens. Look at the school. I posted it a couple of days ago on my page. I posted a post about the RCSD and how they're terrible and how they're the lowest scoring district not in the country. We're number 2 in the country, but on the bottom, 2 on the bottom in the country. We're the 2nd lowest, but we're the 3rd lowest school district in the state for the Regents exams, which they're trying to get rid of the Regents exams because they don't want you to know really how bad the whole situation is. So those will be going away probably this year coming up. But when we look at it like this, we look at the educational system, we've got all of these problems going on. If you look at and I wish I had the link to drop it in the comments, it said that we are 3rd to last out of all 635 of the school districts in New York State. And we had, out of the sample size for the people that took the Regents, it was 1,700 and some odd kids, right? Excuse me, children. But the other two schools that were lower on the list than us had like 90 students. One had 3 students. So you can't really say that they're performing worse off than we are. They got a much smaller sample size. 9 students. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is crazy. This is crazy. Shaylin, you're right. It is such a shame. It's really a shame. And this is what's going on. And have you heard that? You haven't even seen that in the news. You haven't seen that in the news. You saw them talk a brief amount about how some of the people voted against the teachers' salaries not going up and stuff like that. And some did. I don't think the salary going up actually passed or whatever the case is. But until we actually get some results for the salaries that we're getting, I want to know what we're really doing. You understand? We can't kick the kids out of class that are bad. Okay. And people are like, oh, you can't say kids are bad or whatever. Man, please don't sit here and play in my face. Okay. All of us went to school. All of us knew those children that were behaving badly. You can say, oh, it's not them, it's their actions, all you want. Okay, if they keep repetitively doing those actions need to be removed from the classroom because they are the distraction from all the rest of the children. When I get on city council, I'm going to push for a bill to actually put funding together for them to reopen a school for those type of misbehaving children, like we used to have. It was called Josh Lofton. If any of you guys are watching that remember Josh Lofton. So that was where they put the bad kids that were really, really bad, right? Because we still had some kids that were misbehaving in school, but they were really, really bad. And I don't even know if that was open when I went to high school. They closed it so long ago. So, but these are the type of solutions, like real tangible solutions to the issues that we have. Teachers can't teach, okay? And then half of them don't know what's going on because they got 89 million trainings every year because something's always new and always changing. How is something always new and always changing and we're graduating students that can't read, we're graduating students that can't read, can't write, and can't do basic math? How are things changing so much that these teachers need to go to all these different trainings a year? Has learning English changed that much? Has basic math changed that much? Has basic reading changed that much? Like, what are they going to school to learn? How to be activists? How to baby a child? Like, what are they going? What are they going to all these extra things for? And that's not me being down on the extra trainings and the newest techniques and stuff like that. But what I'm saying. All right, we're back. Boom. So share this out because we're back. So somebody drop a comment because I want to make sure that the comments are still coming up. Okay, the Democrat system has been broken for decades, and now it's time for the people to homeschool their children. I'm absolutely behind that. We need to homeschool our children. We need to homeschool our children. This is important. We need to be able to take the money to put them, if they want to go to charter schools, if they want to go somewhere else, if they want to go to private schools, we need to put the money to them. We've got so many struggling students, and nobody's looking out for the futures that they have that should be beautiful and bountiful. Nobody's looking out for that. Shaylin, if you're still on, please drop a comment. Let me see if I can pop your comment up. Make sure that it's working. So these type of things and these serious conversations are important to have. If we're not having them about the school district, about public safety, about these very important issues, nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change at all. And we need things to change. If nothing changes, nothing's going to get better. Like I said, with these school system and stuff like that, it's terrible what's happened to our school system. And they're stealing from our children's future. That's what they're doing. They're stealing from our children's future and the opportunities that they might have. And what's happening is basically it's destroying our ability to get jobs and companies to actually build in Rochester. And when I get on city council, I'm going to focus on actually getting small businesses that are from and in Rochester and focusing on them growing, as well as entrepreneurship. So these are important things. Hit the like button, hit the share button, and get this out there. Share this with other people. If you're watching us on Twitter, don't even worry. Hit the retweet button. It don't cost you nothing. If you're on Facebook, hit the share, okay, and get this message out there. Drop a comment, even if it is just a wave, and say, hey, I'm listening. I see you. I appreciate what you're doing. This is important. So it's very important to talk about these serious issues. Now, there is money for youth job empowerment that's been put out by the Finger Lakes Economic Opportunity Region. Okay, so they've got some money there. It's apparently almost $4 million has been allocated to train about 2,500 at-risk youth. So I don't know where and how that money's been spent, but that money goes across the region. I don't know how many people have actually got it. This might be the first time that you're hearing of this, but we'll see. Let's see. We got some comments here. We got a comment. Shaylin says, Marcus, I need you to review the sanctuary city policies on the subject matter that about the new curriculum for public education. Okay, so the sanctuary city policies is we're not actually a sanctuary city for illegal aliens. That's not what our whole purpose as a city was when we started off as a sanctuary city. So it was supposed to be for refugees. So, but we can't talk about that. These are the important conversations that we really need to have that nobody wants to talk about. But now they're trying to even make us a alphabet sanctuary. What do you mean we're an alphabet sanctuary? What does that even look like for LGBTQI plus two-spirited boy love, girl love, pedophilia people, bestiality people, all of this crazy nonsense? I'm not with it. I'm not with none of it. Gay people are people too. You understand what I'm saying? Gay people are people too. They don't need no extra special rights more than what I got. You understand what I'm saying? Like, are they not people? Didn't they fight for equal treatment? They got over equal treatment, and they got more than regular representation. They're outweighed grossly compared to any other demographic. Okay, as far as representation goes. What's up with that? Can we have that conversation? Why do they need our city? This is what city council is trying to push. This is what Mary Lupien's trying to push. This is what Stanley Martin's trying to push. Okay, this is what Stanley Martin's homegirl trying to push. Sanctuary city for alphabet people. Why? Alphabet people are normal people, at least I thought, aside from some of the crazies, you know what I'm talking about. Okay? This is one of the big reasons why I'm firmly against the LGB being entwined with the T and the I and all of that other stuff. The LG and B is a sexual orientation. Okay, it's not a gender identity. When you put all of this other gender identity nonsense with a sexual orientation, now you're doing too much. You was really doing too much to begin with, but now you're doing way too much because you're trying to lump them all together and say that they're all the same. This is the same thing that they do with black people. They try to lump us all together and say, oh, you're BIPOC. Don't BIPOC me, black, indigenous, people of color. Don't do that to me because you want to try to say, oh, well, we're the same as the Spanish people. Oh, the Spanish people. Which Spanish people, right? Which Spanish people? Are we talking about Latinos? We talking about Hispanics? We talking about Puerto Ricans? We talking about Mexicans? We talking about Colombians? Who are we talking about? Why are you lumping us all together like we're not our own distinct groups? Don't we matter? You understand what I'm saying? But they be the first ones out there talking about Black Lives Matter. Black lives don't matter to you. We're only trying to get some coin off of us. You only out here grifting. Because as long as Stanley Martin been on city council, I haven't seen the status of the majority of black people in our city change. I haven't seen her put one proposal or one piece of legislation up to actually improve the plight of black Americans that they're going through. And she's not a black American. So can we have that conversation? Does she really care? Or can we have the conversation that delineation matters? Okay? Because a Puerto Rican be real quick to tell you they ain't a Mexican unless you want to fight. You understand what I'm saying? But when it's black Americans saying, oh, well, we're black Americans, the Jamaicans or the Caribbeans ain't the same as us, then it's a problem because now we really harshing on their money because these other people can be black when it's convenient and we're black all day long, black on both sides, okay? But we can't have that conversation. You know, we got this exploitation rodeo going on where everybody's competing to see who is the most oppressed. And it's a bunch of nonsense. Most of the people on all of these positions and levels of government in our city are all look like me. Whether they're actual Black Americans or not, they look like me. So why are our people doing so bad? Explain it to me like I'm five. You out there like I'm five. You out there telling me that you're here to help me, that you're here to help my neighborhood. I see the plight of my people getting more serious. I see the schools are destroying the lives of the youth. I see that there are more youth criminals now in our neighborhoods now more than ever. I see that the young Black youth are out here talking about, oh, they don't want to live anymore because they don't see any opportunities for themselves in the future. That's terrifying. And what's being done about that? Can we have that conversation? No. Let me see. We got Shaylin says, do you want a gay male or a transgender teaching your children? Listen, it's very clear. Do not let your enemy teach your children. Okay. That's what Malcolm X said. And he's always been right. That's why I'm not even very fond of the public education system at all. I don't think the government should be teaching our children because, again, like I said in the beginning of this episode, the government does not care about you. The government is a self-perpetuating entity that's only duty is to grow itself and to leech away your wealth, your assets, your rights, and your ability to be sovereign as an individual. So do I want them to teach my kids? I listen, if you feel comfortable with them teaching your kids, that's your business. Okay. I don't feel comfortable with public schools at all. You understand what I'm saying? Now, it doesn't mean that they're bad teachers or whatever, and they're not even a problem. Let's break down the real problem. So when we're saying, oh, well, if it's a gay teacher or transgender teacher or whatever, are they a problem? First of all, nobody should be transgender in the school system anyway. That's a whole separate conversation, okay? Because you should not be out here confusing and warping these children's minds, okay? But the problem isn't people in and of themselves. It's the ideology that a lot of them are pushing. And what I've seen is a lot of gay people have been pushing back against this trans agenda. And that makes me very happy to see. But they also realize that the trans agenda is erasing gay people too. Okay? Because again, the gay people are completely based off of the fact that they know what a man and a woman is. They know that a man can't be a woman and a woman can't be a man. They're attracted to people of the same sex. But the whole transgenderism and the rest of this alphabet nonsense is trying to get rid of sex, period. They don't want men. They don't want females. They want non-heteronormative, normal, whatever words they got this week. Okay? Whatever nonsense they coming up with this week. And then they want you to be passive. They want you to be PC, because if you're not, they'll label you some sort of a hate or homophobic or something like that. Who's scared? Who's scared of gay people? Again, are gay people not people too? Like, why would I be scared of a person? I'm a child of the Lord our Father in heaven above. I'm not scared of no man. Okay? That's not anything for me to be scared of. They're people too. But it's when other people want more than what other people have because they think that they're entitled and that they should be specially allocated stuff for. That's not what we're doing. And then we got all these people running for city council out here talking about they Democratic Socialists of America. Use a what? Use a what? I got a lot of Cubans in my church, right? And you should hear some of their testimony of what they did of what happened in Cuba. Okay, like it's crazy. We've got some Venezuelans there too, and you should hear what they've got to say about what's happened in Venezuela under so-called socialism. You know, but you've got to actually know and talk to these type of people that are from these countries that are experiencing it firsthand. But they'll tell you, oh no, socialism hasn't been tried yet, or oh no, communism hasn't been tried yet. If you know Marx, and I encourage you all to read up on Marx and Trotsky and Lenin and all of the stuff that they were really stood for, so you can actually know what these crazy cuckoos are about that are trying to push this concept of ideology. They're champagne socialists. They want you to take everybody else's stuff, but they don't want to give none of theirs. Shaylin, what you got? How can we fix this problem? Which problem specifically, Shaylin? Which problem? There's so many issues. If you're talking about the schools issues and the deterioration of the schools, that's a state level issue. That is legislation that has to be done on the state. I'd advocate to change a lot of the rules in relation to that from city council, but that's largely a state issue. That's the state assembly and state senators. Okay, so those people need to be held accountable. And when I get on city council, I have no problem pointing you in the direction of who's responsible for what, because these people need to be held accountable. It's really, really real. So let's go into some other things, because we got we got some time left, but I want to make sure that I get into some other stuff that's going on. I'm gonna get and hit some national issues. Okay, so let's see. Hold on one second. The laws and legislation. Yes, ma'am. It's laws and legislation. Especially, that's why I'm running for city council. People are like, oh, we want you to run for mayor or whatever. The mayor doesn't write laws and legislation. He does not pass the budget. That's why I'm running, because I want to be involved in those important things to actually help determine some of those issues and how those things get handled. The mayor doesn't do that. He's only in charge of the departments. He's like think of him as like the CEO of the city. He's in charge of the different departments. So these are important issues that need to be addressed. Yeah. So I can go into more detail about that at another time, but let's hop into some of these other national issues. I know a lot of you guys have seen what's been going on with the Epstein files. Pam Bondi came out and was like, oh, the Epstein files, we don't have an Epstein list. What do you mean you don't have an Epstein list, bro? What do you mean? You were arresting this guy for all of this so-called child trafficking. It wasn't child trafficking, it was sex trafficking, excuse me. As far as we know, there were no underage children. I'm using air quotes here, but this is a fact. He was going down for sex trafficking. You think he was having sex with all of them people by himself? I mean, if that's his virility, I mean, God bless, more power to him. Okay, but I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. Now we got Pam Bondi out here talking about, oh, there is no Epstein list. Listen, you mean nobody was guilty of nothing? What happened to that Prince Andrew guy, right? Somehow, mysteriously, the lady that was testifying against Prince Andrew that was involved with Epstein, she ended up dying. She ended up dying. So she just magically ended up dying. She just committed suicide after she continuously told us that she wasn't suicidal. She just died magically. Come on, stop playing with me. Don't play in my face. And now Prince Andrew is getting off of charges. So does this mean that Ghislaine Maxwell needs to be out of prison? Should she be out too? If Epstein didn't have no client list and they don't have any proof that any of these other people were involved, why is she in jail? And I'm not saying that she should get out. I'm saying that we need to be looking at what's really going on. They're out here playing in our face. Okay, and I don't care who's in the administration. Don't get it twisted. I always stand on business. Okay, the government is the enemy of the sovereign individual, and the government doesn't care about the people, no matter who his administration is in office. It don't matter if it's Trump. It don't matter if it's Biden. It don't matter if it's Kamala. It don't matter if it's any of them. It don't matter if it's any of them. Because there are people in the government that are so deeply embedded in it. You call them the deep state, you call them the swamp, you call them the shadow hand, you call them whatever you want. They're the ones that are really behind everything. They're the ones that are really maneuvering all of this. Yes, she was a witness, the one that they killed, right? So I'm surprised if Ghislaine isn't long for this world. She might end up gone soon. Okay? So, but these are the conversations that we need to have. Because right now, people are mad at Dan Bongino and what's his name? Cash Patel. I love Cash Patel. I like Cash Patel a lot more than I like Dan Bongino. I'm kind of like, I like Dan Bongino enough, but I really like Cash Patel. And for me, for them being the FBI director and the vice director or deputy director, right? I'm very disappointed in both of them. I'm very disappointed in both of them, and I ain't got no problem. I've been trying to catch up with both of them. I want to catch up with one of them outside. because I want to tell them about my grand disappointment with them. Like, I'm not happy. I need some of these people going down. Nobody was arrested for the COVID lies and the tyranny there. Nobody was arrested for putting Catholics on watch lists for going to traditional mass. That's crazy. Nobody was arrested for any of the other various crazy stuff that's been going on over the last couple of years. Nobody's arrested for the Epstein human trafficking nonsense. Okay, what is going on? What is going on? What is being done? Nothing's being done. Nothing's happening. I need something. Somebody got to go to jail. Give me something. Give me a bed that's been slept in, a bone for my dog, something. You know, like, it's real serious. So now people are like, oh, well, Trump said stop looking into it or whatever. Also, if you're online right now, hit share, hit like, drop a heart, drop a comment, even if it's just an American flag or a thumbs up or a hey, I'm listening. Drop one of those down in the comments, okay? This is important. We need to have these very serious conversations. Accountability is important no matter who's in office. But the big issue that I see is Republicans are willing to hold these people accountable, and Democrats are never willing to hold any of their people accountable. Look at our city. It's all run by Democrats. We got all types of crazy stuff. Where's that housing authority money? Huh? Where's that millions of dollars of housing authority money? Where'd that money go to? Oh, well, it wasn't the housing authority that did it. Well, but the housing authority was supposed to get the money. They ain't get the money. Where the money? Where the money? It came from the state. Where's the money at? Are the Democrats here locally holding somebody accountable for that? No, not at all. Not at all. You're right. It does look like those people are above the law. Nobody's being punished. This is crazy. You know, this is a serious issue. So I'm not so happy with that. And I got a lot to say about it. I don't want to harp on it too long because I want to get into some other things. But that's been very, very, very upsetting. That's been very upsetting. You know, like, they've been promising the Epstein files for so long. And let me tell you very clearly, for me, it's not about the Epstein files. It's about the principle of the matter. And some people are like, oh, well, the Democrats had the files for so long and they were destroying the files when they took over the FBI. If you guys remember, they were destroying a ton of files when they took over the FBI. But that's a conversation that we can't have. And people really need to be having these important conversations. So please hit the like button, hit the share button. Okay, get this message out there. And if you want to support the show, we do have Cash App. We're working to raise $25 to $50 an episode to get more airtime and to do more. You can do Cash App, $MW Real, the number 1. That's $MW Real, the digit 1. We also have PayPal and Venmo, and that's at Marcus C. Williams. So if you donate $10, $25, whatever you can, that would be fantastic. I appreciate you. Please donate and let me know. Drop a comment after you donate, or you don't have to drop a comment. And if you do drop a comment and you donate, I'll pop it up on the screen and encourage other people to match your donation. So $10, $25, whatever you can do, or more if you can. And you can donate on PayPal or Venmo, and that's at Marcus C. Williams, or you can do Cash App, and that's $MW Real, the number 1. So here's what we got going on also. As we have this conversation about what the FBI is doing and stuff like that, they just bust another spy ring that's going on. So that's another Chinese spy ring that's going on. So they just caught somebody that had broken into a lot of the, they caught him in Italy because we have extradition treaties with them over there. Went to go to vacation there. And he had been breaking into different colleges that were performing different experiments and programs for the government as far as defense goes. And he was stealing the emails and the information in relation to them. But we can't talk about that, right? Now, this is something that went back apparently to 2019. Now, if you guys remember in 2019, when Trump started to crack down on all of these Chinese people in I believe it was Houston, or it might have been Dallas, there was a giant Chinese consulate where they raided it because they were part of a giant espionage situation against our nation. So they raided it, and they were shredding stuff. They were setting stuff on fire and all of this. So we didn't get the information on the intelligence operation that the Chinese were running against America. Let me tell you right now, from my mouth to your ears, the Chinese are the enemy of the American people. Okay? China hates America. Now they got somebody, it looks like Xi Jinping is going to be changed out, possibly, probably, but it looks like the other guy ain't going to be much better than him if they do change him out. It basically, they got a whole military conspiracy against him right now. So we'll see what happens. He wasn't good. He was whole trash, but I don't know that these new Chinese people that are going to be in power are going to be too much better. I've heard some whispers of who it might be, but I'm not able to, I don't have enough information to corroborate anything. All I do have is that it does look like Xi is largely having his power eroded, and they have put together a new council that is essentially in control of the general things that Xi Jinping would handle. So this is a big move over in China right now, and we have to pray that whatever is going on over there happens good, because we might end up getting that's more hardline in there than Xi. They might go after Taiwan next month. We don't never know. And we ain't going to defend Taiwan. They can say what they want to. Don't listen. They blowing smoke. We can't defend Taiwan. We can't defend ourselves. There was just a military report that came out that said we don't got enough ammunition. We don't got enough missiles to defend ourselves if we were to end up in a conflict. And you talking about we're going to defend the Taiwan? No offense to Taiwan. Okay. But we need to worry about ourselves. Again, we need to be putting America first. Okay. We just got money in the big, beautiful bill for building a Golden Dome to shoot down missiles defense system. That's great. But we need missiles to shoot at other people too. You understand what I'm saying? So let's see. We got a comment. Shaylin says, sir, please be very, very careful in Monroe County. I am. I do my best to be all the time, always ready, always on alert. But we don't want to also fall into the curse of hypervigilance. That's also a problem, especially in underserved and Black communities. And that's a conversation for another episode. But if you'd like to expound upon what you're talking about, Shaylin, drop it in the comments. All right. And any of you guys, other ones that are watching, hit the heart button. I see more of you watching than have liked this post. So like it, share it, retweet it. She's saying sleeper cells are in our county. I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are. And I didn't even get to talk about the Muslims yet. Okay. And I wasn't planning on it. But we've got a bunch of them that have been let in that are these terrorist organizations. We know that Hezbollah had training sites in Venezuela. We know that Hezbollah has been training the cartel. So you mean to tell me that they're not bringing them in here? Of course they're over here. This is very serious, and we need to be on alert about these things. But my biggest concern is because we got these people up here acting up, and this is what I really wanted to get into. Because we got all these people over here acting up that are really domestic terrorists, talking about free Palestine and all this nonsense. First of all, let me hit on the free Palestine, and I'll come back to this. First of all, with this free Palestine nonsense, Donald Trump is the only president that's out here talking about, oh, let's bring peace in Palestine. Let's get these people aid and get these people food. Let's get these people shelter. Let's find them a permanent habitation situation. So he's out here actually doing what he can to support ending this, I don't know what you call it, complete obliteration of all structures in their area, and work on starting to rebuild over there. And these crazy anti-American, anti-Christian, pro-Palestinian people are out here protesting, talking about they hate Trump so much. But Trump's out there doing what they say that they want. So what is it? It's just Orange Man bad. It's just Orange Man bad. They don't care at all, not even a little bit, about what they claiming that they care about. And this is a serious problem, because if we are going to move forward, we need people that stand on business. They don't even stand on the business that they claim that they stand on. Now let's go over to these other people that are out here fighting ICE. You understand what I'm saying? You got the pro-Palestinian people fighting ICE. You got these crazy fake pro-Mexican people fighting ICE. What is these pro-Mexican people fighting ICE? Go back to Mexico if you love Mexico so much. But it's not largely Mexican people that are doing this. There's some white people out here with these Mexican flags running them up with their face all covered up. Okay, then they got the nerve to say, oh, well, I shouldn't wear masks on their face. You shouldn't wear masks on your face, you terrorist. Okay? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. You shouldn't wear masks on your face. What you talking about? Sound crazy. Y'all out here throwing rocks at people, shooting off fireworks and pyrotechnics and stuff like that at people. And you talking about, oh, well, they shouldn't wear face masks, but you're all face masked up, wearing outfits and stuff like that. Y'all got shields like you're an invading horde and you're waving a flag of a foreign nation. I wish them, man, listen. I believe very firmly that they need to be treated as the enemies of the state that they have so declared themselves to be, because they are out here waving the flag of foreign nations, talking about that they stand for these other countries and not for America, and they want to change and turn over America for these foreign entities, and I'm not with it. I'm Black American. I only got one country. I ain't got no other countries to go to, and ain't nobody taking any Americans, so y'all better know what time it is. The Mexicans is kicking the Americans out, and the Mexicans been kicking Americans out since before Trump got in office, because all of the Mexicans in Mexico are complaining about the Americans driving up the cost in Mexico. Well, wait a second. Where have I heard that? I've heard that over here. The illegal aliens are driving up the cost of stuff for American citizens. So if Mexico is kicking us out, why can't we kick them out? You understand what I'm saying? But that's another cop-out that they try to say, oh, well, it's the Mexicans, but it's not really Mexicans. It's all of these other people. We got tons of people from countries all across the world that are really involved in this nonsense. Okay, it's people from all across the world, and they're trying to say, oh, well, it's just Mexicans. It's not just Mexicans. Honestly, largely, it's not Mexicans. But some of them are Mexicans. A good amount of them are Mexicans. But it's not all of them. You know, and then you want to know, and let me tell you the real deal, Holyfield. If you're watching right now, hit the like, hit the share. If you're not subscribed, hit subscribe. But definitely take 2 seconds and share and retweet this right now. And drop me some thumbs up in the comments. I need to see them down there. So this is the real deal, Holyfield, you guys. They're out there starting this nonsense because what they know that we don't is they're done. The Democrat Party is done with Black Americans, because they see that Black Americans are waking up and we're not voting for them in the numbers that they wanted to after they told us to kill all our babies, okay, and that our Black women don't need men, and that we shouldn't have nuclear families in a comprehensive household. Since they push all of that nonsense on us, our population has been dwindling. But you know what population has been growing? The Mexican American population. So now they're pandering to the Mexican Americans, and they done put Black people completely out of the conversation. They ain't never cared about us. They ain't never liked us. The Democrat Party ain't never been for Black people. From the onset of Democrats separating from the Republican Democrat Party, because the Democrats wanted to keep slavery, all the way through them doing the Reconstruction to prevent us and kick us all out of Congress, because we had more Black congressmen and more Black senators that were in office before the Reconstruction, right after the Civil War, than we do today. So you make that make sense to me. And all of them were Republicans. So you make that make sense to me. Then we move on to Jim Crow. That was the Democrats. Then we move on. We'll jump ahead a little bit. Then we move on to the what do you call them? The civil rights laws. Democrats consistently voted against the Civil Rights Act. Go look it up. Like, you can't make this stuff up. Lyndon B. Johnson, after he got rid of JFK, he got in office and he said, listen, let me placate these people and manipulate these Black people so that they'll vote Democrat for the next forever, pretty much. And he did that by the Great Society Project. Go look that up. It's a giant expansion of social welfare. That's where in the 60s, in the 70s and the 80s, that you couldn't have no man in the house if you wanted food stamps or any type of government assistance. And that's when they broke up the Black family. Then they pushed abortion on our people. Before that happened, before desegregation happened, we had the largest segment of the middle class in the nation, not just by per capita, but by population. Okay. So that happened. That was before segregation. So all of these people telling Oh, we're oppressed and all of this nonsense. It's trash, garbage. They're using that as a way to oppress and keep down Black Americans so that they don't know their history, that they don't know their greatness, that they don't know about Black excellence, so that they don't think that they can achieve, because they think that some white man's got a boot on their neck. The only white man with a boot on their neck is the Democrat Party, which now is filled with a whole bunch of Black people. So you tell me who's really holding who down. And it's not me lifting up the Republicans and exalting them on high, but they're definitely better than the Democrats historically when it comes to policy, okay, and legislation. But more so than anything, they're not the ones out here that are largely pushing these policies that have destroyed and deteriorated our families or destroyed and deteriorated our communities. Who pushed deindustrialization of the city centers so Black men couldn't work in the urban centers? And they pushed them all out into the suburbs. That was Democrats. Who did that? And we're just talking back in the 80s, back in the 70s and the 80s. Okay, when this happened, after Lyndon B. Johnson and the Great Society Project, who pushed urban renewal? The Democrats. Now they're doing it again with this whole new wave of gentrification. It's urban renewal part dos, I like to call it. But can we have that conversation? We got to wake our people up to this. Okay. And even if you are on the left and you're white or whatever, you need to wake up to these facts, because what they're selling you are lies also. Okay, let's see. Shaylin says, read the book Iron Triangle by Vince Emirate Ellison. Yo, I just saw Vince Ellison yesterday. I got a conversation about that. I might put up that video later, but we can talk about that later. All right. Yeah, I just saw Vince Ellison. So I haven't read that book, but please go read that book. Vince is a very serious dude, and he talks on this subject a lot. I love Vince. Vince, I love you if you're watching. Mwah. Okay. April, if you're watching, I love you too. Mwah. Okay. You guys are great. All right. So as we have this conversation, these are the important conversations that we need to have, and people need to understand why things are going so hectic in our country, you know? And some people are going to be like, well, Marcus, you're only talking about Black people. I done talked about everybody. Okay. These are important conversations. Now, if I might lean on Black people, yes, I lean on Black people. I am Black. You understand what I'm saying? There's nobody to get to my people, to talk to my people, than me. You understand what I'm saying? We have to talk to ourselves. But I also talk to everybody. I get told about myself all the time and be like, oh, you be caddying for these white people and stuff like that. What? Do you even know me? How could you say something like that out your mouth? You sound crazy. Okay. Marcus doesn't bend or do anything for anybody. Marcus stands on business 100% of the time. So whether you agree with me on a certain issue or you don't agree with me on a certain issue, you know where I stand all the time. And you know, when you need me to stand on principles and values and stand up, I will every time. Can I get an amen? Drop an amen in the comments. Y'all got me out here preaching. Okay. So these type of conversations are important to have. I do want to get on a couple of things. We don't have a lot of time left. We got a whole bunch of stuff going on that's going on now. And I'm not for the U.S. giving Ukraine more weapons or more money or nothing. Speaking of which, Ukraine just pulled out of the mine treaty. So now they're using anti-personnel mines. But get this, Ukraine was already using anti-personnel mines. There have been a number of their own people that have been blown up by their own anti-personnel mines. And you know who gave them to them? Us. We did. We gave them anti-personnel mines. So I'm not trying to hear nobody talk about nothing. Okay? Because I actually pay attention and I listen and I read. All of this stuff is very important to me. But anyway, Ukraine is being run by a tin pot dictator. Okay, Zelensky is not doing his people any type of service. okay? And he don't even care. But we've talked about him before and how he's gone after the Orthodox Church, and his men have raped nuns and imprisoned preachers, imprisoned bishops and stuff like that, and blown up churches and stuff like that in Ukraine. Okay, this is very serious. This is very serious. But we're not going to talk about how Zelensky got rid of all of the outside news outlets aside from the government media. Like, we can't talk about that. That's dictator. We can't talk about how he's pushed elections back and back and back and says, oh, as long as there's a war, we're not going to have elections. You sound crazy. You's a dictator, bro. And I don't care if you support Ukraine or not. Okay, like, I like El Salvador, but that dude is a dictator. It don't change the fact that he's a dictator. You got to recognize these people for what they are, whether you like the results or you don't like the results. And these are important conversations that we need to have. So I don't think we should be funding them with no more weapons. We need weapons. I just was talking to you guys a couple moments ago about how they just did a report from the military branches and said that we don't have enough missiles, that we don't have enough armaments, that we don't have enough weapons. Like, what is going on? How are we still focusing on other people? You understand what I'm saying? Like, we need to shore up and build up our ability to create more battleships, to create more missiles, to create more ammunition, to create more jet planes. And these companies that call themselves defense contractors need to stop charging us so much. You know what I'm saying? Like, one of the reasons that they went after JFK is because him and what's the other one? What was the guy that was the general that was the president? Eisenhower. That's the reason why they killed Eisenhower. Eisenhower's like, oh, we need to break up the military-industrial complex. I don't want to break up the military-industrial complex. I like to keep my brain inside my head and my blood inside my body, okay? But what I do want is I want fair prices. Like, they charging us way too much. They skinning us. And then it takes them too long to make the production of the items. Like, what's going on? Whatever happened to the F-22 project? Okay, the Raptor's still the best thing that we got flying. Like, come on with me now. Like, this is very serious. And I know we're moving on to drone warfare and all of this crazy nonsense. I'm very concerned about that because I'm concerned that the country will use it against our own people, or bad actors will get enough of them to use them against us. It's a problem for me. I don't know how. I don't have a solution for that. I got a solution for most things, but that right there, I don't have a solution yet. So these are the important conversations that we need to have. Please share. If you're on Facebook, share it to your page, share it to your group. If you're on X, hit retweet, hit the retweet button. It don't cost you nothing. Come on now. And drop a heart, drop a comment. Shaylin says, Marxist ideology will take over New York. No, ma'am, it won't. Not on my watch. There are many of us that are fighting to make sure that Marxist ideology does not take over New York. And it will be my pleasure right now. New York City. We see what's going on in New York City with Mandani. Looks like he might win the race. Talking about he's a socialist. He ain't a socialist. Okay, they got beautiful homes, multi-million-dollar homes on hundreds of acres of land over in Uganda. They got all of these beautiful houses and stuff like that. This dude ain't never worked a day in his life. This is a fact. He ain't never worked a day in his life. Okay, he's a nepo baby. Okay, this dude is crazy, and he out there talking about, oh, we're gonna tax the bill. guys, that's what happens when you talk about real issues. So I'm back in here. So we were talking about Mondani, okay? Mondani the fake, the champagne socialist, okay? This is serious, okay? And we got to make sure, I pray to God that he doesn't win, that something happens. Yeah, you're right. They're messing around with my live, Shaylin, because I'm talking about real serious issues. That's why I'm encouraging you guys, please share it. Please get it out there, because they don't want us to hear us talking about real serious conversations. These are important conversations that we need to be having. And you got to look at all of these socialist countries and these communist countries that have ever existed. Everything that always happens, who does it affect worse? It affects the black people the worst, no matter where in the world you go. The darker you are, the worse socialism and communism is for you. And we need to have them conversations. So we'll see what happens. We got a new trade deal that's supposed to be coming up with all of the different NATO countries. We'll see what happens there. We got some issues with some tariffs and stuff like that are going on. And we got a whole bunch of things going on internationally also that are impacting us here. And we really need to have these type of conversations that are important. That's why I always encourage you guys to share, you know. And if there's ever a conversation you want to have while we're doing a live, drop the comment there. We got about 15 minutes. I'm going to go through a couple of the other things that I can while I can. Okay. Yep, you're right, Shaylin. They're gaslighting the people. So here's my deal with the current way that the administration is going and Congress is going, right? So they just passed a big, beautiful bill. That's fantastic, okay? But I need more legislation. Right now, my bill that I want them to pass, I got 3 of them. But the first bill I want them to pass before anything is constitutional carry reciprocity. That means that you can carry your firearm in any state and no state can deny you your right to carry a firearm, because we need to be able to defend ourselves. We can't rely on the government to defend us. You might make a phone call, the police might not come. You call the police in my neighborhood, they take an hour, 2, maybe 3 hours. Okay, you might be in serious jeopardy of death and they still take a long time. So you got to be able to protect yourself. So that's why I support constitutional carry reciprocity. And I want that to be the next bill that hits the floor in the House and in the Senate. And they need to vote on that and they need to pass it, even though all the Democrats going to fight against that, because they don't want you to be armed. They don't want you to be able to push back against the government. That's why they keep tightening the noose around you, okay, slowly and slowly until they can put the whole boot on you and crush your neck. That's what they want. They don't want you to be able to defend yourself. The number one point in the Constitution of you having a firearm and the right to bear arms is if the government acts up, you can defend yourself from the government. Okay, it wasn't largely about criminals, except the criminal government itself. And that's why I believe very firmly that everybody should be able to carry, and there shouldn't be restrictions on that. Whatever the government got, you should be able to have it. Okay, that's what it is. And that's where I stand on that. But the main reason why I say they should pass constitutional carry reciprocity is because if they pass that, then Democrats will be fighting on that. Not only is it a very, very good thing, and we need it desperately, but then Democrats will be fighting them on that. And in the meantime, we can get lots of other good bills passed, like stopping usury. What is usury? Usury is extra high interest on credit cards. There's already a bill in the House of Representatives that Anna Paula Luna, was it Annie, whatever her name is, you know her. Anna Paula Luna and Ocasio-Cortez put together. They did it together. Like, we're talking about two complete separate opposite sides of the spectrum work together to stop credit card interest rates, and the bill is just sitting there. Like, that's the bill we need to pass after constitutional carry reciprocity, because after we pass that, they're not even going to be ready for that. They're not even going to be ready for that bill. We get that bill done. But a lot of people don't want these important bills done because, again, the government is still and always is against the people, no matter who is in there. So there are machines behind the scenes, especially a lot of these private funders that are out here doing crazy stuff to mess stuff up. And I want to thank you. You're listening to the divide on 106.3 WRFZ. Thank you for tuning in. We're getting ready to close up here, but I want to talk to you about a couple of different things. We just passed the remembrance of the assassination of Trump. So that was a thing. And I need you guys to understand this. All of that stuff was shady. Like, you don't got to like Trump or nothing, but the fact that they didn't have the security where they needed to, they didn't have the people where they needed to. And this goes back to me talking about you needing to bear arms and you needing to be able to defend yourself. Because at the end of the day, the police, the sheriff, the government, they are not out to protect you. Their only job is to protect the elected officials. You can look into this, believe me or don't believe me. Ask the sheriff, okay? Their job is to protect the elected officials over the general public. And that's an important thing. And that's why we have to secure our right to bear arms and protect ourselves. If the president can't even protect himself because they don't want to protect him right, how much more so you need to protect yourself, because clearly they don't want to lock up any of these criminals. I'm just saying. Hot take or whatever you want to call it. But it's serious. And we need to have those types of conversations. We'll see what ends up happening with these tariffs. I'm interested to see, because it's going to bring in more money. But I'm really hoping it brings more manufacturing back. I know a lot of people have promised to bring the manufacturing back to the U.S. and have already started building facilities. But we need more. We need more. We need a lot more. And it's happening slowly but surely. And hopefully this money from the tariffs really does go into a sovereign wealth fund for Americans so that it can be used for reinvestment in America. That's what I want to see. So that's very important to me. We had, over the last week, we had multiple ICE agents that were shot, okay, ambushed in 2 different events, okay. And I think, hey, who's that? Miss Brown, hey, I see you there. So we've seen a lot of people injured and shot from ICE that are actually working to uphold the law, to uphold these deportations. I'm all the way American. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, I'm Black American. We ain't got no other country. These people got another country. They want to come here. They can come here legally. Put them at the back of the line behind all the people on the refugee list. Okay? The refugees need to take first priority. All right? That's very important to me. But they went after these ICE agents, and this is a continued escalation. Let me leave you with this warning. If you're just tuning in, hit the share button, hit the heart button, hit the like button. And if you're on X, hit the retweet button. It don't cost you nothing. So I want to leave you guys with this thought, okay? It's a very important thought. As we are talking about ICE, and the Democrats and stuff are like, oh, they're militarizing the police and all of this. I have been warning, and you can go look back at my older videos. I have been warning avidly about them pushing to do martial law for years. And it looks like some of these Democrats just got to the party and they're like, oh, martial law. But again, it's not about who's in office. It's about the people behind the scene that are really moving the chess pieces. Okay? So that's what's important. We have to make sure that we recognize and we understand that. They're saying, oh, well, Trump's going to put in martial law, but you're putting the steps together to make it necessary for us to need martial law. You're out there attacking federal agents. You're preventing them from doing their duty. And then you want to say, oh, well, they're trying to institute martial law. Well, they'll institute martial law because you're out here being a dickbag. Like, are we for real right now? Like, I want you to stop doing that specifically because I don't want them to do martial law. I live in New York State. Our governor has been pushing more and more for martial law every day. That's why she fired all the correctional officers and put the National Guard in there. That's why she put the National Guard in the subway in New York City. That's why she had the National Guard working at hospitals. Ain't none of that got nothing to do with the National Guard. None of that's got nothing to do with the National Guard. She just wanted to normalize you seeing the National Guard on our streets. So when they do initialize martial law, you'll already be familiar with it and feel more comfortable with it. Don't let these people play in your face. Don't let these people play in your face, y'all. That is the message that I'm trying to leave for you. All of these pro-Palestinian, these anti-American, anti-Christian people out there, okay? They don't want nothing good for us. They just want to get out there. They want to act up. They want to act a fool, okay? Because they want to act like they ain't got no home training. Because they can. They ain't got no end game. They're being manipulated by others behind the scenes. Again, I already said earlier why. Because the Democrat Party wants to capture the demographic of the Mexican Americans in this land. They also want to do mass amnesty for everybody. And I know Trump said, oh, he might consider amnesty for some of these people. Absolutely not, bro. And I don't care how much you love Trump. No amnesty for nobody, not a one. All of them got to be deported. Okay, not just the men, the women and the children too. Okay, all of them need to go back. We don't have another country. We have to worry about our children here. Do you know how many children that we have that are in need of foster parents or adoption right now in America? And you talking about you about to take care of somebody else's children? What about the American children? I can't remember who I just saw. One of these crazy people out there just bought themselves an African child, okay? Because they wanted to adopt somebody. We got all these children here in America that need adoption. And you talking about helping all these other people, okay? And if you guys know, you know I talk about the adoption system and the foster care system all the time. They need complete overhaul, complete reform. That is not cool what's going on there at all, okay? But it's a serious, serious issue. And it needs to be addressed. So we got to help ourselves before we help anybody else. When you get on a plane, they tell you to put your oxygen in case of danger, put your oxygen mask on first, and then help your child or help your neighbor. But we're out here helping everybody else but our own people. And that's my thought for the day. I'll leave you on that. We got to help our own people. We need to arm ourselves. Last word is this. I said this before, but I'm going to say it again. Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, the money dude, right? He said people need to worry less about Bitcoin, investing in Bitcoin, and people need to go out and invest in guns and ammo. So he's trying to tell you that something big's coming. So y'all better listen up. When the money people telling you what's going on, that something's about to go down, you need to wake up. Because I figured that the money man know more about what's going on than I know. So if he smells it and I see it, must be something. I'll catch y'all later. And I want to thank you guys for tuning into The Divide with Marcus C. Williams on 106.3 WRFZ FM. Remember, stand up, speak up, and don't shut up. Take action. Be blessed and be well. Hit like, hit share, drop a heart, drop a comment, share this out on your page. I'll catch you guys later. Remember, stand up, speak up, and don't shut up. Take action. Be blessed and be well.